For years, the world doubted. Indian army won battles, but could never win the battle of perception. Even after Balakot, Pakistan and many oppositions claimed that the strike never happened. The same thing happened even after the surgical strikes when people questioned the thermal imaging and demanded clearer evidence. But now, after Operation Sindoor, the scene has changed completely.
विनय न माने जलधि जड़ भय 3 दिन बीत बोले राम सकोप तब भय बिन होए न प्रीत. Yesterday, we had a detailed brief on the successful joint operations that were carried out to destroy the terror infrastructure in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. कि पाकिस्तानी सेना ने आतंकवादियों का साथ देना उचित समझा. हमारी जवाबी कार्यवाही अत्यंत आवश्यक थी और इसमें उनका जो भी नुकसान हुआ वे खुद इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं.
Our job is to hit the target, not to count the body bags.
This time, if Pakistan dare take any action, and Pakistan knows it, what we are going to do.
जब हौसले बुलंद हो तो मंजिलें भी कदम चूमती हैं.
Following the defining statements by the armed forces officers, Prime Minister Modi delivered one of the most epic speeches of this decade.
आतंकियों ने हमारी बहनों का सिंदूर उजाड़ा था, इसलिए भारत ने आतंक के ये हेडक्वार्टर्स उजाड़ दिए. पाकिस्तान की तैयारी सीमा पर वार की, लेकिन भारत ने पाकिस्तान के सीने पर वार कर दिया. टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता. पाकिस्तान को अगर बचना है तो उसे अपने टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का सफाया करना ही होगा.
Probably for the first time in 15 years, India has not only won on the battlefield but also in the battle of narratives. No more doubts or dismissals. This time, India has responded with undeniable proof, a bold strategy, and an unshakable voice, standing firm not just against Pakistan, but also against global powers like China and America. The truth is out. The world has seen Pakistan's deep connection to terrorism, and India has showcased its absolute military superiority. But how did this transformation happen? Let's break it down in today's video. Operation Sindoor has changed everything. India has conducted a highly successful military operation deep inside Pakistan, eliminating 9 terrorist headquarters and over 150 terrorists. Alongside them, 9 Pakistani Air Force bases were reduced to rubble. This time, India has made its stance clear. There is no difference between Pakistan's government and its terrorist networks. From the start, India had a singular goal, not a prolonged war, but a precise and devastating response. A strike so undeniable that the world could see India's unwavering stand against terrorism. And India delivered. The impact of this operation has now sparked global speculation. Why did Pakistan rush to America, pleading for ceasefire? Some reports suggest that India targeted the Norkan base, which is dangerously close to Karana Hills, where Pakistan allegedly stores nuclear weapons. Rumors swirl of nuclear radiation leaks, raising fears of escalation. And so, in a frantic bid to stop the crisis, Pakistan called for a ceasefire, pleading for an end. And when our armed forces officer was asked about it in the press conference, he said this.
Thank you for telling us that Kirana Hill houses some nuclear installation. We did not know about it. Okay. And we've not hit Kirana Hills, whatever is there. Okay. I did not brief in my briefing yesterday. Thank you.
India accepted the ceasefire, not out of weakness, but because harming civilians was never the goal. From the very beginning, India had one mission, to send a decisive message to Pakistan and its terror networks. That message has now been delivered, loud and clear. But what makes Operation Sindoor even more impactful is what Prime Minister Modi himself stated. The rules of engagement between India and Pakistan have changed forever. And soon, we'll dive into exactly how these rules have shifted. But before that, let's talk about another front where India has dominated, information warfare. Pakistan knew it couldn't win militarily, so it desperately tried to control the narrative. But the defense it put forward? Hilarious. A last-ditch effort to salvage pride. And now, the world is seeing what G.D. Bakshi already knew all along.
Look, let me tell you an Afghan proverb. Trust a snake before you trust a harlot. And trust a rat before you trust a Pakistani. They are swine.
Pakistan was so unprepared for this attack that when their defense minister was asked on a global news channel of what proof does he have of shooting down India's rifles, this is his reply.
Pakistan claims it shot down 5 Indian Air Force jets and a drone, as I understand it. India says there's no evidence of that, no proof. So can you provide more detail? Hold on. Can you provide more detail? Allegation of 5 fighter jets shot down. Where's the evidence for that, sir?
It's all over the social media, on Indian social media, not on our social media.
What sort of nonsensical argument is this?
हमारा डिफेंस मिनिस्टर इंटरव्यू दे रहा था, तो इस तरह के इंटरव्यू तो मैंने जब सुना तो मैं हैरान हुआ कि एक एंकर उससे पूछती है कि आप कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान ने 5 जहाज गिराए हैं, इसका कोई प्रूफ, कोई सबूत है? तो ये कहता है सोशल मीडिया। अफसोस की बात है, इस तरह का जवाब इसको देना चाहिए था।
Imagine handing in a school assignment with proof sourced from random social media posts. You'd be kicked out immediately. And this is the defense minister of Pakistan. The embarrassment is so severe that even politicians from his own country can't help but laugh at him.
यहाँ पे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर का स्पेशली जो रवैया है वो बहुत इररिस्पॉन्सिबल है। यानी इंटरनेशनल मीडिया में अगर अंग्रेजी नहीं आती है तो ना जाओ। If you cannot defend your own country, don't go there. Don't mock yourself, don't mock your government, don't mock your state.
In fact, this is such a disgraced country that the official Twitter account of the government of Pakistan is posting a clip of a video game called Arma 3 and claiming that this is the real video in which they have shot down India's Rafale fighter jet. This is the condition of Pakistan's information warfare. Ashim Munir, who was boasting just 2 weeks ago, is nowhere to be seen, sitting in a bunker while sending out 3 minor figures to handle the fallout. And their defense? Utterly laughable. Just look at this so-called presentation. It's less of a military briefing and more like a last-minute civics project from a 9th grader. PowerPoint slides filled with weak arguments, desperate attempts at salvaging credibility, and, of course, the kind of statements that make you wonder, are they even taking themselves seriously?
उसके अंदर जो इस्लाम है, it is part not personally of our beliefs of each one of us, it is part of our training, it is part of our faith. Iman, taqwa, jihad fi sabilillah. That's what drives us, that's our motto. And alhamdulillah, we have a chief of army staff who has a strong belief. तो लीडरशिप जो सी है, जो ऊपर होती है, उसका जो बिलीफ होता है, उसकी जो कमिटमेंट होती है.
If jihad was their driving force, then after losing 9 terrorist headquarters and 11 Air Force bases, it seems they'll have to find a new source of motivation. You've seen Pakistan's defense, or rather, its desperate scramble to save face. Now, take a look at how the Indian Army presented its operation. On 13th, the Indian Army held a press briefing, and from the very first moment, they won our hearts. Indian Armed Forces started the press briefing with a montage over the Shiv Tandav Stotram. After that, a montage of Ramdari Singh Dinka's famous poem Rashmarati was played. The Shiv Tandav Stotram, an ode to Lord Shiva's cosmic dance, embodies both creation and destruction. And today, it represents the spirit of New India, a nation that will not hesitate, a nation that will strike within enemy walls and deliver justice with precision. 3 senior officers from the Indian Armed Forces, representing the Navy, Army, and Air Force, stood before the world and made a decisive revelation. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a strike, it was a statement. 9 major terrorist camps, including key headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba, were obliterated. In precision strikes, nearly 150 terrorists were delivered to the afterlife by speed post, and over 40 Pakistani soldiers faced the same fate. But beyond the battlefield, India did something even more powerful. It presented undeniable, high-precision proof of its actions. No speculation, no ambiguity. Before the world, the Indian Army meticulously laid out its evidence, leaving no room for doubt.
The series of buildings out here and this empty ground. Next. If you relate, the empty ground is here, and you see this is the first weapon that is impacting. This is the impact point number 1 on Murid training camp with our precision guided weapons on early morning 7. Next, please. Keep your eyes glued for the second weapon coming in, and the second impact on the selected target point. Next slide, please. Third weapon. Third impact. Continue. And fourth weapon. Fourth impact. So through these targeted and precision targeting, we addressed the target at Murid, which was the training infrastructure.
Then the Indian Army also clarified that 35 to 40 Pakistani soldiers have been wiped out in the firing at the LOC.
Pakistan Army has reported to have lost approximately 35 to 40 personnel in artillery and small arms firing on the line of control between the 7th and the 10th of May. What the other side had probably also not reckoned with was the speedy and precise turnaround and hit back by the Indian Air Force.
Again, sufficient proof was provided. And then after this attack, Pakistan, in a fit of panic, sent drones inside the Indian border. Many of these drones have also been perfectly intercepted by India. There was minimal damage done to India.
These included Jammu, Udhampur, Pathankot, Amritsar, Batinda, Nal, Dalhousie, Faiz, Jaisalmer, Uttarlai, Falodi, Nalia. These were almost simultaneous and they came in waves. All our AD guns and other systems were waiting for them. All these waves were neutralized by our trained crew using the air defense systems that they have, and also some of them were utilized using our legacy systems.
Through these strikes, the Indian Army also systematically dismantled key Pakistani military bases. And this time, there's no room for denial. With high-resolution satellite imagery, nearly in 4K clarity, India has presented undeniable proof to the world, showing precisely where and how these bases have been wiped out.
And after the strike, this is what has happened. This radar has been taken out, completely burnt. Once again, on a tower, not very clear, but what you see very clearly is the after effect after we have struck. The radar head has been completely decapitated. Now coming to Sargodha airfield. Remember, this is one of their important airfields wherein they have a lot of assets, F-16s, other assets which they keep getting. Training institutes.
All the proofs have been taken from ISRO satellite and not from social media.
And this is the aftermath of our strike at Raimiar Khan Air Base. You can see the massive crater that it has left on its runway. And you can see the pinpoint accuracy of our weapons.
कि जब पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स ने हमारे एयरफील्ड्स और लॉजिस्टिक इंस्टॉलेशंस में 9 और 10 मई की रात को लगातार हमले किए, वो इस मजबूत एयर डिफेंस ग्रिड के सामने विफल हो गए.
Indian armed forces have also showcased India's safety grid and layers to the world.
इस ग्रिड को एक तरीके से दर्शाया गया है. आप देख रहे हैं कि इंटरनेशनल बाउंड्री से कितनी लेयर्स, रडार्स, काउंटर, अनमैन्ड एरियल सिस्टम्स, उसके पीछे शोल्डर फायर्ड वेपन्स, हमारे विंटेज एयर डिफेंस वेपन्स जो कि काफी सालों से हमारी सेना में हैं. एयर मार्शल भारती ने भी उसके बारे में बात करी. और लास्ट में हमारे मॉडर्न एयर डिफेंस वेपन सिस्टम्स. तो कोई मौका नहीं था कि पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स ये मल्टी टियर डिफेंस को पार करके पीछे हमारी एयरफील्ड्स या लॉजिस्टिक इंस्टॉलेशंस को टारगेट कर पाए।
In fact, the Akash air defense system built under Make in India has intercepted and destroyed countless Pakistani attack drones. Not only this, India's surface-to-air missile on one hand avenged Wing Commander Abhinandan by taking down Pakistan's F-16 fighter jet and on the other hand put the military of the entire world on notice. This entire operation was a great advertisement for Made in India defense technology, and this is something every Indian should feel very proud of. India's in-house systems completely neutralized the Chinese drones and missiles. This sends a strong message not only to Pakistan but also to China that no matter how big your economy is, you cannot compete with India when it comes to military tech. And our armed forces officers ended this presentation with a very clear warning to Pakistan as well.
This time, if Pakistan dare take any action, and Pakistan knows it, what we are going to do.
This is how professional armed forces operate. This is how a narrative battle is won. Well done. India has won this narrative war so well that the international news outlets, which are generally very anti-India, they too had to accept that India has over-delivered this time. BBC is also struggling to run the narrative of Pakistan. Reuters is also dismissing Pakistan's claims. Even Al Jazeera has had to show the Indian Army and Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh in a positive light. International journalists are also giving statements about how the Pakistan Defence Minister has accepted the relationship between Pakistan Army and terrorists.
Pakistan has never really admitted it publicly in different points and at different times, you know, whether it was General Parvez Musharraf or Benazir Bhutto or different ISI chiefs who have come out at different intervals in Pakistan's history and felt the need to make an admission and accept that perhaps they do fund and back terror groups and use them as proxies. Still, I didn't expect that in this heated moment when there is this escalation between Pakistan and India over the horrendous and heinous crime that took place, the terrorist attack in Kashmir, I didn't expect that so blatantly he would come out and admit this.
India's victory in this information war is undeniable. First, the armed forces officers set the stage with a powerful, precise, and irrefutable presentation. And then, Prime Minister Modi followed up, delivering one of the greatest speeches of this decade.
आतंकियों ने हमारी बहनों का सिंदूर उजाड़ा, इसलिए भारत ने आतंक के ये हेडक्वार्टर्स उजाड़ दिए। भारत के इन हमलों में 100 से अधिक खूंखार आतंकवादियों को मौत के घाट उतारा गया। पाकिस्तान की तैयारी सीमा पर वार की थी, लेकिन भारत ने पाकिस्तान के सीने पर वार कर दिया।
Prime Minister Modi made it absolutely clear that India's rules of engagement with Pakistan have changed permanently. That from now on, India will not see any difference between the Pakistan government and terrorists. This means that the peace initiative is now dead forever, so please do drop an F for a man ki Asha in the comment section to pay your respects. The most important thing was that he made sure that Pakistan knew that India was going to dismantle them if they did not stop their terror industry. It means that the Indus Water Treaty is still suspended and India will continue stopping or diverting water. He clearly stated that if Pakistan does not stop its terror industry, then Pakistan will not survive. He also made it clear that India will not accept any nuclear threats.
दूसरा, कोई भी न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल भारत नहीं सहेगा। न्यूक्लियर ब्लैकमेल की आड़ में पनप रहे आतंकी ठिकानों पर भारत सटीक और निर्णायक प्रहार करेगा। तीसरा, हम आतंक की सरपरस्त सरकार और आतंक के आकाओं को अलग-अलग नहीं देखेंगे।
India does not want to get bogged down in a long war because India's primary concern is growth and development. But Modi also made it clear that if any terrorist activity takes place in India in the future, India will not be afraid of nuclear threats. And he also clarified that India only accepted the ceasefire after Pakistan itself has begged for ceasefire. India has accepted the ceasefire only because they have promised that they will not carry out any military or terrorist activity in future.
जब पाकिस्तान की तरफ से गुहार लगाई गई, पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जब ये कहा गया कि उसकी ओर से आगे कोई आतंकी गतिविधि और सैन्य दुस्साहस नहीं दिखाया जाएगा, तो भारत ने भी उस पर विचार किया.
There was another very important aspect of his speech. 1 hour before Modi's speech, Donald Trump held a press conference where he credited himself for the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. He even said that he negotiated a permanent ceasefire. But the ground reality was that India had achieved its aim. And only after that, India accepted the ceasefire with Pakistan, because Pakistan begged.
Again, let me say a few words about the historic events that took place over the last few days. On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons.
Modi also completely exposed this statement of Trump. He clearly stated that India has not accepted any permanent ceasefire.
और मैं फिर दोहरा रहा हूं, हमने पाकिस्तान के आतंकी और सैन्य ठिकानों पर अपनी जवाबी कार्रवाई को अभी सिर्फ स्थगित किया है.
Basically, Operation Sindoor has now become a status quo. If Pakistan does anything in future, they will be dealt with again in the same way as India dealt with them in Operation Sindoor. And this is a very bold step on the part of Modi, because till now Modi has been very friendly with Trump and the US. But he showed that when it comes to India's national security, he will not tolerate any miscommunication or misunderstanding, even if it is Trump. And then he obviously finished with these bangers.
टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते, और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता. अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो टेररिज्म पर ही होगी. अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर पीओके उस पर ही होगी.
Last week was such a glorious week for independent India. India has also kept the Indus Water Treaty suspended. Water will continue to be diverted and blocked, which will further ruin Pakistan's already exhausted economy and agriculture. And because of that, social, political and economic tensions are going to explode in Pakistan in the coming years. And the most important thing is that India is not afraid of the nuclear weapons. If Pakistan provokes again, India will impose such a cost on Pakistan that even its nuclear threat will be destroyed. And Operation Sindoor has proved India's complete military superiority over Pakistan. And now is the time to focus on the economy, boost the manufacturing sector, catch up with China and leave Pakistan in its dust. Slowly disintegrate Pakistan into multiple pieces by shocking it economically, systematically and diplomatically. But this should be done slowly. This should be India's end goal, and after listening to Modi's speech, it seems that this is indeed his goal. Also, we want to ask you, what did you feel after listening to Modi's speech? Do you think that India has achieved the goal it set in Operation Sindoor? Please let us know in the comments section below. We will see you in the next video, and until then, stay curious and keep expanding your mind space.